Hello, everyone. You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Thomas I. Likeness, broadcasting from our studio in Edmonton, Canada. It's Monday, April the 19th, 2021 on this side of the world. And a good Tuesday morning, magandang umaga, to our viewers in the Philippines. In the news, we have updates from several of our correspondents from across North America. Milo Simbulan in Swarthmore, Pennsylvania.
Emergency SNAP or SNAP allotments begin for households receiving monthly maximum benefit. And Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf received his first dose of Moderna Covid-19 vaccine.
Anna Cui in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Las Vegas COVID-19 mass vaccination site to close May 5.
David Reggio in Oxnard, California.
Los Angeles reaches vaccination milestone. 1 million COVID-19 shots administered.
Eliza Gonzalez Manglik-Mott in Washington, D.C.
The District of Columbia offers amnesty for drivers with outstanding tickets as enforcement functions begin June 1st.
For ABC Sports, we have reports from Tenny Samagi.
World champion gymnast Simone Biles weighs in on her Olympic journey.
Julianne Evangelista brings us the highlights of that shootout between the NBA's Boston Celtics and the Golden State Warriors. And Anita Manawas will tell us how to build a do-it-yourself sanitation station. And for tonight's roundtable, National Garlic Day. I love this stuff. Let's see if our roundtable agrees. Our coverage begins now. The calm before the storm. That's the mood today in Minneapolis as the trial of former police officer Derek Chauvin wrapped up. He's accused of murder and manslaughter in the death of George Floyd. The case has now gone to the jury after both sides made final arguments this morning. Meanwhile, the city is bracing for violence if Chauvin is a sampling of opinions on the street.
Obviously, I hope that there's a guilty charge, and, nobody wants somebody to be guilty, but I hope that that is what ends up happening. I don't think it will, and I think that the city is kind of preparing for that to happen right now. They're boarding the buildings up, and the National Guard is out in preparation for the bad news. But I really hope that there is good news. I hope that he is guilty and justice gets served.
Because if you do what they did to George Floyd on a perfectly sober 20-year-old, that person would die as well. So I think it's invalid. And my hope is that he gets convicted.
Minnesota right now is very polarized when it comes to policing, so I think if a precedent was set, then things might change here.
I think the outcome, it could be a hung jury because there is a minimal question there, but hopefully it all turns out the way it should and everybody's happy. I live downtown and we're all quite concerned about the outcome of the trial.
Meanwhile, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki says President Biden's administration has been in touch with governors and mayors about the possibility of violence. She says Biden wants to ensure that any protest is peaceful.
His view is also that exercising First Amendment rights and protesting injustice is the most American thing that anyone can do. But as he also always says, protests must be peaceful. That's what he continues to call for and what he continues to believe is the right way to approach responding.
While many parts of the world are struggling to immunize their people, the United States is in an enviable position. President Biden took to Twitter today to tell Americans there's enough inoculants in the country to take care of everyone.
Folks, I have good news. Everybody is eligible as of today to get the vaccine. We have enough of it. You need to be protected, and you need in turn to protect your neighbors and your family. So please, get the vaccine.
Meanwhile, in Canada, restrictions on using the AstraZeneca Covid vaccine have been eased by several provinces. The Canadian government had recommended only using it on people between the ages of 55 and 64, while it investigated reports of post-immunization blood clots. That's changed now. The minimum age has been dropped to 40. Previous narrow age range, as well as vaccine hesitancy, has left a lot of that AstraZeneca product sitting in the medicine cabinet. Vaccine clinics have worried the product might expire before it can be used. Let's look at today's COVID-19 numbers now, provided by the Coronavirus Resource Center of Johns Hopkins University in Medicine. As of 6 p.m. Eastern Time today, the number of cases of COVID-19 reported worldwide is now more than 141,716,000. Top three on the country's list of countries with recorded cases: the United States, more than 31.7 million; India, more than 15 million; Brazil, more than 1 million. Now, sadly, more than 3,024,000 lives worldwide have been lost to this virus. Top three countries with the most number of COVID-19 related deaths: the United States, more than 567,000; Brazil, more than 373,000. A wildfire in the foothills of South Africa's Table Mountain is advancing towards central Cape Town.
Good morning, residents.
Authorities walked the streets this morning using a loudspeaker to tell residents to evacuate from their homes. The blaze has ravaged several university buildings and historic structures. Part of a library housing a unique collection of African archives was destroyed. Strong winds are hindering the efforts to control the inferno. No casualties have been reported, apart from 4 firefighters who have been injured. The fire broke out yesterday. Cause under investigation. Authorities have taken one person into custody.
Good morning, residents. I say urge you to evacuate from your houses.
A couple of aviation stories for you now. First, this one. Oh, it must have been frightening for beach goers in Florida on the weekend. A World War II-era plane taking part in the Cocoa Beach Air Show on the weekend developed engine trouble. You can see it coming down here on the screen. Just watch it as the pilot makes an emergency landing just off the beach, mere feet from where people were enjoying the sunshine. No one injured. The pilot, the only one aboard. An investigation underway to figure out what caused the engine failure in the restored dive bomber. Well, a more successful flight earlier today. This one was on Mars, and this was the scene in the control room at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory as the Ingenuity helicopter made its maiden flight. The chopper hovered about 3 meters off the ground. It was reminiscent of that first powered flight on Earth in 1903. That's when Orville and Wilbur Wright flew the first aircraft in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Mimi Ung is the lead engineer for the project. She just could not contain her excitement.
We have 3 goals that are in line with NASA's agency-level objectives. The first is to demonstrate here on Earth that it is possible to fly a controlled power flight in the thin atmosphere of Mars. We've done that. The second objective is to perform that actual flight at Mars. Well, we're about to get data back very soon here on that first flight. And the third is to return data to inform engineers working on designing future generations of Mars helicopter.
So what are the implications? Engineer Taryn Bailey says, well, it opens up opportunities for when humans finally make it to the red planet.
It also opens the doorway for human exploration, and the helicopter can go into areas where the rover can't. So there are a lot of caves, and the rover has to overcome a lot of obstacles on the ground that the helicopter can ideally move around, and that's why it's such a great option for putting an aerial vehicle on another planet.
Next, we have stories from Pennsylvania and Nevada. Eagle News America continues.
Events happen around us all the time, in our community, in our country, around the world. Events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced. Eagle News, because we live in interesting times.
You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Thomas I. Likeness. Well, there's more help for people relying on Pennsylvania's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Eagle News correspondent Mila Simbulan is standing by with the details. Mila?
That's right, Thomas. The Department of Human Services, or DHS, began to issue emergency allotments for the month of April for households that currently receive the maximum monthly Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or what we call SNAP benefit. Households receiving the monthly maximum benefit will receive an additional payment equal to 50% of their normal monthly benefit. Households that previously received smaller emergency allotments will receive an amount equal to 50% of the monthly maximum for their household size. Details and timing for the disbursement of the remaining funds from the $712 million settlement, which covers emergency allotments from September 2020 to April 2021, will be finalized soon. Moving forward, these households will begin to receive a regular monthly emergency allotment so long as Pennsylvania's disaster declaration, which is required to authorize emergency allotments, remains in place. The Biden administration recently issued guidance indicating that all states will now be able to receive an additional minimum supplement of $95. Meanwhile, Governor Tom Wolf today received his first dose of the Moderna Covid-19 vaccine at the Family First Health Center in downtown York. Dr. Aselin Go, Vice President of Medical Services at Family First Health, administered the vaccine. Take a look.
Really important. It's important for a number of reasons. I mean, we're obviously in a race between the vaccine and the variants, and one of the concerns is that as this virus mutates, it could become something more serious, and the only way we can really defeat it is to make sure that a lot of people get vaccines. So that's one thing. The second thing is it's really safe. I mean, this vaccine has been injected into, I don't know, 200 million people at this point. Over 40% of the population of Pennsylvania has had at least one shot, and it's been very, very safe. The only issue that's come up has been the Johnson & Johnson. That's 6 cases out of almost 7 million vaccines that have been administered around the country. So the process is safe. The folks who are looking at this and monitoring this at the CDC and the FDA are doing a really good job, I think, and this is really important for us as Pennsylvanians to defeat this disease.
According to the CDC, as of Monday morning, today, April 19, Pennsylvania has administered first doses of vaccine to 43.2% of its eligible population. And the state ranks 10th among all 50 states for first doses administered by percentage of population. Pennsylvania also ranks 5th among all 50 states for total doses administered. Vaccine providers have administered 7,141,842 total vaccine doses as of Monday, April 19. 2,772,009 people are fully vaccinated, with a 7-day moving average of more than 97,100 people per day receiving vaccination. Right now, Thomas, in Swarthmore, it's 56 degrees Fahrenheit or 13 degrees Celsius with partly cloudy skies. In Swarthmore, Pennsylvania, Mila Simbulan, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Thomas.
Mila, this emergency allotment for SNAP, where's the money coming from?
So, Thomas, this one's come following a settlement between Community Legal Services and the United States Department of Agriculture, and will be the first part of a $712 million distribution of federally funded food assistance that will be approximately 700,000 households that they either receive less than half their monthly SNAP payment in additional assistance or have not received extra SNAP assistance since the COVID-19 pandemic began. So what happened, Thomas, in September 2020, the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, they issued a preliminary injunction in Gilliam versus USDA, ruling that the USDA misinterpreted the law to mean that any household that already received the maximum monthly allotment for its size would not receive an additional emergency allotment. It also meant that those receiving SNAP whose grants were close to the monthly maximum received only small additional emergency allotments. So following the ruling, the USDA sought clarification regarding the ruling, delaying Pennsylvania's request for additional emergency allotment. Thomas?
Let's talk vaccines for a moment. I really like that figure that you mentioned there. Over 43% of your population vaccinated. That's really good to see. What is the reaction of Pennsylvanians when it comes to the vaccine for those who haven't yet got the shot, or is there some hesitancy out there?
So initially, there were hesitancy because the vaccine is new. You don't know what the reaction of the people are. And then eventually, from my coworkers, even my coworkers, my family, and my friends, they really want to get the vaccine. I just 2 weeks ago, I was just talking to my coworkers, and among our team, I'm the only one who hasn't scheduled any appointment yet for vaccine, and most of my family members as well, even my friends, everyone, they even go as far as Virginia just to get a vaccine. And then, so I'm not even planning on getting a vaccine myself, but I was able to get an appointment, fortunately. Thomas?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, are you planning to get the vaccine? Do you have any idea which one you're getting? Is it going to be the, are they doing Moderna and Pfizer there?
Yeah, we're still getting some Moderna here and some Pfizer as well, especially the hospitals who have proper storage. They're able to give out all those Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. Yes, I am planning to get a vaccine after being exposed, really close exposure to COVID, and seeing really what the symptoms and everything are. Now I'm really planning to get a vaccine. Actually, tomorrow is my first dose. I'm scheduled to get my first dose tomorrow at a hospital near me. Thomas?
You'll have to come back on the program tomorrow just to ensure. We want to check up on you. Bring a video, okay?
Sure. Yeah, if the hospital will allow, yes, I will document the process, Thomas.
Yeah, they may not. They wouldn't allow me. Thanks for joining us this evening, Mila, and do take care. We go to Las Vegas now, where the city's mass vaccination site says it will be closing its doors on May the 5th. Joining us now from Las Vegas, EBC's Anna Cui. Anna, I take it that this is good news that the site will be able to close down.
Yes, Thomas. As of Sunday, the state dashboard shows over 776,000 COVID-19 doses initiated, 521,125 doses completed, and a total of 1,249,000 COVID-19 vaccines administered here in Clark County. So last week, Tuesday, a record number of vaccines were administered at both the Las Vegas Convention Center and the Cashman Center clinics. More than 7,700 vaccines were given at Cashman Center alone, and more than 6,000 at the Convention Center location. So according to the Southern Nevada Health District, as a larger percentage of the population is vaccinated, they will shift their strategies for a more focused outreach. And so on May 5, as you mentioned, the Cashman Center location will be closing down. But the large-scale vaccination operations will continue at the Las Vegas Convention Center. The health district says the May 5 closure, is because so many residents have already been vaccinated, and this will allow, the closure will allow the district and its partners to shift resources to smaller events like pop-up clinics and focus teams to vaccinate higher risk, harder to reach populations, especially those who are harder to convince to get vaccinated, Thomas. And even with the pause of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, the state had a daily average of over 22,000 doses administered as of Sunday. And speaking of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, the Nevada Department of Health and Human Services confirmed that one of the 6 reported serious reactions to the Janssen COVID-19 vaccine was an 18-year-old from Clark County, where Las Vegas sits. At this time, the health district does not have any additional details about the Nevada resident. So if I get any more updates, I will make sure to give our team here, our Eagle News team here, an update. Now, as a follow-up to Governor Sisolak's announcement of transitioning mitigation efforts from the state to the counties in order to meet the goal of fully reopening on June 1, officials from several rural Nevada counties told the task force on Thursday they're ready to relax restrictions and reopen businesses May 1. Now, this includes White Pine County, bordering Utah, and Pershing in north central Nevada. Those are among the 2 out of the 17 counties that addressed the task force on Thursday. Their positivity rate, Thomas, remains below 5%. So Washoe County, however, and that's where Reno sits, the officials there postponed their plans to present their blueprint to the panel Thursday. The chief county health officer, Kevin Dick, said he fears full reopening will accelerate a recent rise in COVID-19 cases in the Reno-Sparks area. But he said he understands the need to balance safety with economic factors. So more to come from them. In Las Vegas, Anna Cui, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Thomas.
Anna, is it true that out-of-state residents can get the COVID vaccine in Nevada there?
Yes, it's true and not true, just not anybody. I did read that online as well, and I'm sure everybody's trying to, come here from our neighbors from California and Arizona. So I called the COVID-19 hotline, and only on special circumstances, like if someone was someone got their vaccine at a pharmacy out of state and they happen to be here in Vegas for an acceptable reason, not just visiting and not coming here for the purpose of getting vaccinated, then they may be eligible for it. Also, I was told that people that live within X amount of miles of the borders, California and Arizona and Utah, should be eligible also. They just need to call the hotline and schedule an appointment. Thomas?
You talked about the overall numbers. Can you narrow that down a little bit for us, Hannah?
Well, yes. So here in Clark County, where Las Vegas sits, overall, we vaccinated over close to 53%. 33% of that has the 1 dose, and 23%, almost 24%, has been fully vaccinated. Thomas?
Those are just great numbers to hear, and will certainly help you continue on that reopening path. I've heard that some counties are actually able to fully reopen prior to that June 1st goal that Governor Sisolak had set. Can you tell me what's happening with Las Vegas?
Well, with Las Vegas, unfortunately, we're seeing a rise in our in the cases on the average, like on over a 14-day average. 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we went down below 200 cases, and now we're back up to 277 the last I checked. So we're now again flagged for having the being high risk for the COVID-19 cases. But they're going to present their plans to safely reopen on Thursday, as the COVID-19 task force continues to meet weekly with all the representatives from the counties. So we'll see what will happen here. Thomas, we'll give you an update.
I'm just curious, and I'm not sure whether you've been given that information. Is there any indication as to what's causing the increase? Is it visitors coming into the state, into Las Vegas?
Part of that, yes. We're seeing now an influx of out-of-towners, and due to one of the reasons is the cheap, the very affordable airfare, and also considering the recent holiday that we just had. So when that happened, spring break just happened. So as we know, Thomas, that's been the trend. Every time there's a holiday, we see a spike, a surge.
Yep, generally comes about 3 weeks later, Anna.
Right.
Thanks for joining us, and do take care. Still to come, we have stories from Los Angeles and Washington, D.C. This is Eagle News America.
Hey there, Arnie Aquino here at Hatley Castle, one of the filming locations for the X-Men series. Don't forget to tune in to Digital Nest only on Net 25.
It's time to take one step further and face the impossible. Time to search the unknown and fight for the truth. Time to overcome boundaries and connect the world. It's time for DW News.
You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Thomas I. Lightness. Well, this is a milestone that the city of Los Angeles can celebrate. 1 million vaccines. Standing by to join us live with the details, Eagle News correspondent David Reggio. David, that's a lot of people who've been immunized.
Thank you, Thomas. Indeed, it is a lot. The city of Los Angeles surpasses the 1 millionth milestone in the administration of the COVID-19 vaccine doses at city-run vaccination locations. A much-needed step forward in this fight against the deadly virus. Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti states, quote, "Every dose administered is a step closer to defeating COVID-19. And the first million shots can mark the beginning of the end of this pandemic if we all do our part. With the leadership of our fire department, the efforts of our volunteers, and the cooperation of our partners, we have crossed a critical milestone on the road to health and hope. Now is the time to double down and get vaccinated as soon as possible, so we can reach the day soon when every Angelino is protected from this virus," end quote. With vaccine eligibility open now to all Los Angeles residents 16 years and older, the city's vaccination program has also ramped up its efforts and collaboration with various departments and organizations in reaching out to the public, especially at the most vulnerable communities and neighborhoods. To distribute and administer the COVID-19 doses is a safe, effective, and equal way. Ann Lee, CEO and co-founder of the Community Organized Relief Effort, or CORE, says, quote, "This milestone is a testament to our incredible partnership with the City of LA, LAFD, Carbon Health, Curative, and USC School Pharmacy, dedicated to protecting the Los Angeles community. We are by no means out of the woods just yet in our mission to save lives, but this landmark serves as a growing ray of hope that our continued partnered efforts, from mass vaccination sites to equity-focused mobile units, can help lead Los Angeles out of the pandemic," end quote. Since the onset of the city's program to provide the COVID-19 vaccine to eligible Angelinos, a total of 1,020,000 12,322 vaccine doses have been administered, which is a whopping 96% of the city's supply at hand. According to city data, approximately 67% of Angelenos vaccinated are people of color. Over 28% are above 65 years old, and more than 53% are women. In Oxnard, California, David Reggio, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Thomas.
David, after surpassing that 1 million mark in vaccine doses, how many is the city planning to administer this week?
Well, Thomas, the city is planning to administer around 109,000 additional doses this week at city-run vaccination locations. That is about 50,000 first dose and 59,000 second dose appointments. The city is also expecting a shipment of about 42,000 Moderna and 61,000 Pfizer vaccine doses to arrive soon. So currently, there is approximately 29,000 Johnson & Johnson vaccine at hand in the city supply that has been placed on hold and until further guidance and instructions from public health officials and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. So the city is prepared to meet the influx of appointments currently being made for the vaccine with the opening up of eligibility to all Angelenos age 16 and above. Thomas?
Okay, David, now the city, of course, reached that 1 million milestone. What about the county of Los Angeles? You know, it's a much greater population, covers multiple cities, everything from, well, Lancaster to Sonoma. So, David, how many doses has...
Los Angeles County has administered more than 6 million vaccine doses to people throughout the 88 cities. That is to count 4,080,126 first doses and 2,239,672 second doses. This means that more than 4 million Los Angeles residents has some protection against the virus, while more than 2 million residents are fully vaccinated and protected. Slowly but steady, Thomas, Los Angeles is getting there.
Well, that's good to hear. Why don't you update us now on the COVID-19 situation in Los Angeles County?
Yes. So with over 6 million vaccine doses administered in the county, the COVID-19 numbers just released shows how effective the vaccine is in this battle against the deadly virus. Today's numbers show 337 new COVID-19 cases and 18 new deaths, with 470 current hospitalizations. So the county's daily average COVID-19 cases have drastically declined 98% from its peak during the surge at 15,933 cases. Daily average deaths have also greatly decreased 97%, and hospitalizations also down 94% from their average peak levels. Thomas?
Thanks for your report, David. And gotta ask, have you been vaccinated yet?
Actually, today I have taken my first dose. There was an opportunity for us to walk in and be able to take our first dose at the time. So right now, I'm slowly but surely going to take my other doses in the future and be part of this protection against the deadly virus.
Well, that's good to hear, David, and take care, okay?
Thank you.
Well, I gotta ask, why wasn't this around when I was young and a little bit reckless and had a whole lot of parking tickets? EBC's Eliza Gonzalez-Manglebot tells us the District of Columbia is offering amnesty to drivers with outstanding tickets just before the enforcement again begins on June the 1st. Eliza?
Good Monday evening to you, Thomas, and a good Wednesday morning to our friends on the other side of the globe. The days of drivers enjoying lax parking enforcement in the District of Columbia are numbered. Mayor Muriel Bowser announces that beginning June 1st, Washington, D.C. will restart several government functions. These include parking enforcement, towing of illegally parked vehicles, and requirements to renew vehicle registrations and inspections. All these have been suspended during the COVID-19 public health emergency. Now, Mayor Bowser says more activity on roads and sidewalks are expected from now on. She says these enforcement mechanisms are one way the district can make its transportation network more efficient, restart important government services, and help protect residents and visitors as they move around the district. Now, although losing the convenience of parking without worrying about meters might not be good news for some drivers, but drivers with outstanding tickets have something to smile about. The mayor announced today a 4-month amnesty program giving drivers the opportunity to pay outstanding tickets. The tickets included in this amnesty are tickets for parking, photo enforcement, and this includes speed, red light, and stop signs, as well as minor moving violations. The amnesty program will run from June 1st to September 30th of this year. It also includes tickets issued before September 30 of this year. Now, Mayor Bowser encourages all residents with outstanding tickets to learn more about the ticket amnesty program and get current on any outstanding fines. Now, for some weather update, Thomas, it's 57 degrees Fahrenheit or 14 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital. In Washington, Eliza Gonzalez, Manglik Mott, Eagle News, will live in interesting times. Back to you, Thomas.
Eliza, let's continue to talk about that amnesty program for outstanding tickets. Sure wish they'd have had that in 1972 when I had a stack of them. But it sounds like a good thing, but is everybody eligible? Are all of the tickets completely wiped out? 100% you get out of paying your ticket?
That sounds too good to be true, Thomas, and it actually is too good to be true. Now, to avail of the amnesty, residents and non-residents of the district must be facing financial hardship. Now, they need to contact the Office of the Chief Financial Officer Central Collection Unit, or the OCFO-CCU, for settlement options. So I said settlement options, which means, yes, they will still have to pay the original ticket amount, but any penalties will be waived. Now, one fee that will not be waived, however, is tow and storage fees. So if your car is towed and impounded, you still have to pay up. Now, for more information, you can visit ticketamnesty.dc.gov. Thomas?
Towing and storage, that really adds up. So why is the district doing this? Are they just being nice guys? Or?
I think during this time of pandemic, Thomas, being nice, or should we say understanding the financial situation of many might have played into it. But Deputy Mayor for Operations and Infrastructure, Lucinda Baber, said, in addition to getting many drivers in compliance with their ticket obligations, the amnesty program will help district residents pay their outstanding tickets so they can obtain a real ID credential and also obtain assistance if they face financial hardship due to the current COVID-19 pandemic. Thomas?
Let's go to the restart of the full enforcement on parking violations. What all is going to be included in that?
Well, according to the DC website, Thomas, it lists the following: expired parking meters, expired residential parking meters or RPPs, expired vehicle tags, parking in no parking zones, where it says violators will be towed and ticketed, registration of residential out-of-state automobiles or the ROSA, abandoned vehicles, those with flat tires or expired registrations. Now, the District of Columbia Department of Motor Vehicles, or the DCDMV, is also restarting certain requirements on June 1st, and these are as follows. All district registered vehicles must display valid registration and inspection stickers to avoid penalties and enforcement. Now, registration renewals are not eligible for in-person transactions. You can renew online on the DCDMV app or by mail. Now, vehicle inspection is available on a first-come, first-served basis. Now, DC DMV will require all expired DC driver licenses and ID cards to be renewed before July 1st of this year. Now, failure to comply may result in enforcement. Thomas?
You know, our viewers would want me to ask this, so I'm just doing this on their behalf. Are you going to be taking advantage of this program?
Thomas, I'm proud to say I've never had a parking ticket or any ticket, or any traffic violation at all ever since I got my driver's license. So, yay.
Congratulations. Take care, Eliza. Still to come, EBC Sports and a do-it-yourself sanitation station. You're watching Eagle News America.
Innovation, digital disruption, globalization. Startups, micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as large corporations, all face interesting challenges in the market today. Peek into the world of exciting opportunities and partnerships to drive growth with the latest business news and information. We are open for business. Your weekly dose of entrepreneurial inspiration to update you on the latest developments in the world of business. Get up close and personal with CEOs and thought leaders to help you discover valuable insights. Sharpen your instincts for smart decision making with the latest markets and economic trends, disruptive ideas, global innovation, social entrepreneurship, and other leading-edge business ideas. Join the conversations to create a more vibrant environment for entrepreneurship. Catch Open for Business, from vision to action.
Last night, we got some Olympic updates on swimmers and runners. Tonight, we'll hear from who many consider the world's best gymnast. Simone Biles gives her insights on her Olympic journey. EBC's Tenny Samagi joins us now to tell us more.
Thanks, Tom. Simone Biles is presently the world's best gymnast. And 5 years ago, she took the world by storm, winning 5 golds and a bronze at the 2016 Rio Games. The 24-year-old is eyeing to become the world's most decorated gymnast and defines what the Olympics is all about.
Now, you know, we're 4 months out. I'm feeling pretty good, pretty confident. All of our training has geared us for this moment, so I'm just super excited for the journey. It's been tough, but during our time off, we still did Zoom workouts with our coaches, so we were still engaged. And as soon as we got back in the gym, it was kind of just like full speed again to try to get ready and gear up for this year's games. And it's been tough, but it's definitely been worth it. And I feel like every athlete can say the same, is we're not going to give up and we're going to keep striving for perfection. And hopefully we get to show off our athleticism this year at the games. The Olympics are world peace, and that's when everybody just comes together, and no matter the differences any of the countries have, everybody's rooting for each other and want the best for the athletes for your country. And I think that's really neat in itself. But it'll be very, very strange because for a year now and some change, we've been kind of separated and only doing certain things. So it'll definitely be weird. Obviously, we'll be in a bubble. But I think it'll be some excitement. People are ready for athletics and sports to come together again, and it'll be really exciting. It'll be like nothing they've ever experienced before, and it's going to be really special.
Biles also chimed in on GOAT talks, meaning greatest of all time, and how women athletes are ignored by the media on these talks.
Definitely doesn't bug me. I think the only thing that bugs me is when they don't include women, because then again, I feel like it's a little bit sexist because we've worked so hard to put our marks in the sports that we've done. So that in itself is kind of irritating. But other than that, I feel like maybe for gymnastics, I am kind of one of them, or at least everybody says so. So it is nice to have that stamp for gymnastics and to have that out there.
Tomorrow, we'll talk more about Team USA's women's basketball team, where they're trying to make history in winning their 7th straight gold medal, which has never been done in history. Plus, 3-on-3 basketball makes its debut in Tokyo. In New York, Tenny Sumagi, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Tom.
Tenny, do you agree with Biles about the media not mentioning female athletes in the greatest of all times talks?
I 1000% agree with Biles. Why? We come here, Tom, we always talk about sports. Well, you talk about sports with me, and majority of the time, we talk about the men, the NBA, the NHL, whatever league in the men's game. But we rarely talk about women athletes. I mean, last week we spoke about the women's soccer team, which is one of the most dominating teams in the world in their sport, men's or women's. And then we have Biles, and then we have Serena Williams, who is one of the greatest women athletes, and yet media has not talked about the accomplishments that these women have done for their sports. And then we'll talk about more tomorrow about the women's basketball team, where majority of the team members are in the WNBA, and they use their platform to bring awareness of the game and why they should be, considered in the talks of media about greatest athlete of all time. So we need to
Tenny, they've got you as well as a reporter to bring this to the forefront. So, I think it's going to change over. What do you think? Over the next couple of years, you think it's going to change?
Well, first things first. They might, one day women will have equal pay in the women's and men's game. Someday.
Someday. Okay, well, now we got to go back to men's sports now. Don't blame me. This is what's up on the prompter. In NBA play, that's what we're going to talk about now. Jayson Tatum and the Boston Celtics outlasted Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors yesterday. With the details, EBC's Julianne Evangelista.
Saturday night's matchup between the Boston Celtics and the Golden State Warriors provided an epic shooting slugfest between Stephen Curry and Jayson Tatum. Boston rallied to win their sixth straight behind Tatum's 44 points.
Just mutual respect. Obviously, two big performances. I was glad that we got the win, but obviously, he's one of all-time greats, and just to earn his respect and get a win on the same night. It's a good night.
For the 10th straight game, Curry has scored more than 30 points, capping the night off with 47 points. The All-Star guard is averaging 39.1 points in his last 10 games.
Statistically, it is for sure. So this season's required a little bit, something different. I'm trying to meet that moment. It's a fun brand of basketball. Just trying to put wins together with it, and I have supreme confidence. I'm I've been blessed with a very special skill set that I'm trying to continue to master and hone and get better at, and that's showing. The work is showing. So I'm trying to obviously sustain that for this season because it's required for us to get to where we want to go.
Curry's impressive scoring rampage has been one of the NBA's most talked story headlines this season. Celtics coach Brad Stevens is at awe with the Warriors' all-time leading scorer.
A lot of adverse things in the world, a lot bigger than watching Steph Curry shoot threes. So, the smallest part of me enjoys it. I just hate competing against him. But man, do I love watching him. He is as fun to watch as any player because of his creativity, his mastery of shooting, and you just never feel good when you're an opponent. You always feel like you're the next line of a fairy tale.
The Celtics will try to make it 7 in a row when they face the Chicago Bulls at Boston Garden. In Boston, Massachusetts, Julianne Evangelista, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
And now we join EBC friend Nanita Manawis, who shares with us a home sanitation station idea. And there you have it. Time for the round table now. National Garlic Day. So I'm just going to go quickly around the table. We got 5 of you here. I'm going to ask you, when was the last time you used garlic? What are your favorite dishes that are garnished with or cooked with garlic? Have you ever used it for medicinal purposes, to cure something? And then I want to know whether you're a purist. When you cook, do you cheat and mince your garlic with a blender, or you do it like a professional with a knife? Let's begin with you, Eliza.
I knew you were going to call on me. Okay, what was your first question, Thomas?
My first question, last time you used garlic?
Maybe two nights ago when we cooked spaghetti sauce. My girls and I cooked spaghetti sauce and we used fresh garlic with it.
Do you use garlic at all for medicinal purposes?
Actually, I did before. I had a rash on my elbow, and then my mother told me to use fresh garlic, rub it on the rash, and the next day it was gone. It was like magic.
So when you need garlic in a recipe, and you got to have it minced, do you use a knife or a blender, or do you really cheat? And oh no, this stuff is awful. Use some garlic powder.
Yes, I'm guilty. When I'm in a rush, I use garlic powder. They taste good, but yeah, nothing compares to the fresh one, of course.
So do you mince your fresh with a blender or a knife?
With a knife. Never with a blender.
That's good. That's good. How about you, Anna?
So I don't cook a lot, Thomas, but I did use garlic.
Okay.
3-4 nights ago, my favorite dish to make it with is the lemon garlic buttered shrimp. So I bought some prawns. So they're the bigger ones, and I just saute it with butter, lots of garlic, because I do love a lot of garlic with that. And I'm going to have to say that I do cheat. I don't, for things like that, when it calls for minced garlic, I just buy don't judge me, I buy the ones in the bottle.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about those, yeah. Milo, what about you?
The Thomas, the last time I used garlic was last night. Almost every night I use garlic. I love garlic and onion together. We love garlic here at home. We buy garlic at a warehouse store because we can finish it probably in a month, because we really love garlic. And you have so many questions, Thomas. I could not remember the other, but I do use just the knife to mince the garlic. I love because it's different. I used to use the bottled one where it's on the olive oil, but there is a difference when you cook it. There's a difference with the smell.
Big difference.
The one from the bulb, I use the knife just to remove the skin of the garlic. Everything's using a knife. What else? Medicinal? No, I haven't used garlic for medicinal purpose, but I heard from Eliza I might use that. Because we always have those, skin rashes and all those allergies and things like that, especially springtime. What else do you have, Thomas, for me?
Okay, quickly, I've got 2 more to go to. David, quickly,
Sure.
When was the last time you used garlic?
That would have to be 2 days ago. I'm not a good hand when it comes to cooking, though my parents are famous, or at least in the household, for making really nice, delicious Italian cuisines. Garlic spaghetti, garlic pasta is what they're really good for. Though
Actually,
in the process,
Yep.
Yes, they're in the
had some leftover garlic pasta tonight. Tenny, what say you? You got 30 seconds.
I just ate garlic knots today for lunch, and I'm Filipino, Tom. Name a dish where we don't use garlic.
Do you mince your garlic with a knife or a blender?
I actually use kind of a rock that my mom uses, how she pounds garlic. So
Okay.
I learned that, pounding garlic with a...
I'll consider that a purist measure. But we got to get out of here now. But before we do, I want to say thank you to all our healthcare workers, first responders, essential workers of all types. Let's salute them with a round of applause. We appreciate you. That's tonight's Eagle News America. Thank you for joining us. I'm Thomas I. Likeness, and truly, we live in interesting times.